So I enjoyed a lot about this episode of Raw. I mean, how could you not appreciate that fatal 4-way match that was announced? But y'all know I'm going somewhere with this. I'm starting to hate the way we see the exact same ending every single week. Look, it's great that Heyman's Sugar Boys are looking dominant, but hey, that the moment the match gets announced, I can tell you exactly what's gonna happen. You knew it's gonna be a DQ finish, and you knew it's gonna be the same bad guys dominate to close the show moment. Now, I'm not gonna act like I could book it better. I just hate that there are so many people in creative, yet every single episode of Raw right now is a copy of the previous one. So this week, we're gonna have the bad guys dominate. We gotta make them look strong, and next week we're gonna do the exact same thing. Let's predict what's gonna happen in a week or two. The exact same thing, but now Roman is back again. It's just so basic, and I'm starting to hate the fact that I can predict every single episode of Raw. That's all I'm saying. The shows are still decent, the rivalries are okay, and I really love this LA Knight and CM Punk hate-love relationship. It's good, not great. Although I love the Fatal 4-Way that was just announced. That's the thing, the main event scene is looking really good, and I kinda like this idea of CM Punk and LA Knight working together, but they're not necessarily friends like Charlotte and Alexa. Big egos, both won championships. Let's talk about Raw. So CM Punk opens the show, huge ovation. He says he should be the World Heavyweight Champion, but Seth Rollins robbed him. Punk accuses Rollins of pretending to be injured to cash in and promises to take the title next time they meet. LA Knight interrupts Big Pop, acknowledges Punk was robbed, but says Punk caused him his own title shot last week. He says, I don't have an issue with you, but they need to stay out of each other's way. I want the shot before you get one. Punk fires back. You should be thanking me. Your career would be over. Both guys have a point. You gotta love it. You know, CM Punk technically did cost him the match. Maybe LA Knight is a big believer in miracles. Maybe he believes that shit. I don't know. But Punk is also right because he was about to get his head stomped at the ground. Concrete floor. Which is hilarious, and every time they expose that shit, I remember the Nexus invasion of Raw. Why am I talking about it? So big egos are colliding, but LA Knight says, I'll forget about what happened, just don't ever interfere again. We see Paul and the Sugar Boys, they talk some shit, challenges them to a tag team match for tonight. LA Knight is like, no, you don't tell me what to do, but yes, we want a tag team match. So the match is officiale. Pretty good stuff. Also, one of my favorite moments of this segment was Braun Breaker letting his inner Steiner out.
And you're 40! I'll kick your ass!
So this was a decent opener of Raw. Like I told you in my previous Raw review, I really wanted to see that LA Knight and CM Punk promo. I like everything about it. I think it's really cool, and eventually we might get that rivalry, which I think would absolutely slap. Who would be the heel though? Do we need a heel? I think we're smarter than that nowadays. I honestly don't want either of these guys to turn heel because right now it doesn't make any sense. But I think eventually if we get this rivalry, it's not gonna be in the next month. But that's the thing, man. The match got announced and I was like, oh, so probably Seth is going to interfere, and most likely the bad guys are gonna stand tall. And that's exactly what we got. We also got AJ Styles and Dragon Lee versus El Grande and Dominic Mysterio. So that was a fun match, but we got the same metal plate ending that you could see from a mile away. So that was not a surprise. You kinda just watched and waited for it to play out. It was not a surprise by any means, and the heel team wins. How many El Grandes we have right now? 3 or 4? Wrong. One. And that is the big show. Not bad. AJ Styles versus Dominic Mysterio was one of my favorite parts of SummerSlam, so I can't wait for the rematch. Hopefully at Clash in Paris. Sammy tells Sheamus, I don't want you to interfere in my match against Rusev, which is gonna be tough. They can't just put these hands away from each other. So we got Rusev versus Sami Zayn, which was a pretty fun match. I don't remember the last time I seen it, but of course, as you expected, we got that DQ finish. Wasn't the last time we got that, which in a way, to me, I get it. You're protecting these guys. I understand completely. But a lot of times I feel like, well, and this is not legit, but I almost feel like my time was wasted. And that's because MFTs from SmackDown attacked Sami Zayn. So this is going to be a rivalry, I guess. And then Sheamus attacks Rusev. So he did listen to Sami. He attacked him only after the match. So how do we feel about Sami Zayn versus this MFT blood? I don't even know what they're MFTs, right? Is that a legitimate thing right now? What does that mean, by the way? Can somebody explain? I'm an idiot. MFT, my funny tummy, my funky testicles. Yet another rivalry that just simply screams for the draft. By the way, LA Knight, is he on Raw or on SmackDown now? Well, I guess he's on SmackDown. Due to the draft, it's all over the place now. Adam tells Io the match against Naomi can't happen because Naomi isn't cleared. I have no idea how legitimate this is. I seriously have no idea what the hell happened. Raquel and Roxanne talked shit, and Adam makes Io versus Roxanne official. So we got Io Sky versus Roxanne Perez. And the match actually was pretty fun. They were given a lot of time, we saw some fun spots, although I gotta tell you, I hate this move where Roxanne puts her legs on her opponent's neck and spins. I get it's wrestling, right? Most of it doesn't make any goddamn sense. But it was a bit hard for me to suspend my that's not how bodies work! But I'm just doing some dumbass nitpicking, I understand. It's not that big of a deal. It does look great. It's just so illogical, I could take Undertaker actually being dead more seriously. We got some Kabuki Warriors miscommunication which causes Io Sky to lose. So possible Kabuki Warriors breakup was teased and Rhea is playing some mind games. I will always tune into Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley with excitement because they're just soulmates, wrestling soulmates, right? But at the same time, to me, this whole storyline is one of these, I don't think anybody but WWE truly really cares. Jackie interviews Jey Uso, who says he missed last week's Raw to handle family business. Rikishi was ranting, he needed to calm him down. I'm gonna take that championship back, Us. And promises receipts for Seth Rollins attacking Roman Reigns and Punk are coming. LA Knight interrupts, telling Uso the line for Seth Rollins starts behind him and implying Uso skipped Raw on purpose. Uso fires back saying he sent LA to the back of the line, yeet. All of these guys are forced to work together. Well, Punk and Uso are cool, I believe, but you know, Punk doesn't like LA Knight, LA Knight doesn't like Punk, and he also doesn't like Jay. LA Knight is a complete outsider. I like the fact it makes the faction look really, really dominant. I'm talking about Heyman's Sugar Boys because, you know, they're so dangerous, we gotta work together even though we all want the same thing. A championship that only one man can hold. Becky gave LA Knight's sister Maxine Dupree the opportunity for the Intercontinental Championship. By the way, more of these kind of theme songs. Look people, I misspoke. Hip-hop music sometimes works in the WWE. John Cena is a great example. But John Cena's theme song is so different, it's that shit that actually gets people going. It has that oomph. We need that oomph. And the current WWE rap, hip-hop, whatever you want to call theme songs, sound the exact same thing, and they don't actually sound like entrance songs. Whatever Becky did to get that theme song, more people need to do that. Whatever, she was just playing with Dupree, you know, wasn't taking her seriously. At one point, she told her to leave, you don't belong here, but she fights back. Eventually taps out, of course, so Becky retains the championship. I know we can't say a lot of good things about Maxine's wrestling skills, but she really does this innocent, learning wrestling type of deal really, really well. Most of the time when someone is really fresh and not that great in the ring, the fans are rejecting it, which is understandable, but it's kind of like that's her whole character. So people are really behind her. Bayley cuts an emotional promo saying after nearly 13 years she feels empty. No championships, no wins in the past year, and nothing to show for her efforts. She blames herself, admitting she hasn't felt proud in a long time. Backstage, Lyra Valkyria reacts, saying she hopes Bayley is okay, but insists it's not her fault. Lyra says Bayley is on her own after costing her the WWE Intercontinental Championship last week, but she cut this promo in a very sympathetic way, showed a lot of empathy. Oh gosh. Gee, I hope she's, you know, I felt like the character was kind of moving backwards just a little bit, so at least she said, well, it's not my fault. I thought you learned you can't trust these double E bastards. Wrestlers are the worst people on the planet. Finally, we got LA Knight and CM Punk versus the Braun. So Punk and LA Knight trying to work together was absolutely hilarious. You know, all things considered, that was a really fun match to watch. So, of course, we knew what's gonna happen. Seth Rollins attacks Punk, we got Jey Uso with a steel chair, and you know, Adam Pearce had enough. The balls? Still pumping. He announces a world title match at Clash in Paris. Seth versus Uso versus LA versus Punk. Love to hear it. So Punk starts fighting LA Knight, which caused Heyman boys to get the upper hand. People are chanting for OTC. Just wait a little bit, a week or two, we'll see another return. And of course, the bad guys beat them up just like they do every single week, which again is getting a little bit repetitive. Do something a bit more crazy. At least make this show end, I don't know, backstage. Some cool ass spot. It's not that it's necessarily horrible, it's just that I feel like I'm in a loop. I'm making a Raw review and I ended the exact same way. But I do appreciate that Fatal 4-Way. Come on. I know the result, it's obvious, but that's exactly what I wanted in the first place. I even suggested we do this for Logan Paul versus Cody versus John Cena versus Drew McIntyre. Instead we got that on Raw, which is still good. I appreciate it. And I love these international WWE premium live-ins. The only issue I have with them, of course, love the crowd, is that they're really predictable and you don't really expect shit to change. Which is kind of unfortunate. Whatever, that was your Raw. Again, not a horrible episode, I just feel like I'm in a loop and I'm watching the same thing over and over and over again. Thank you so much for watching, people. Like, subscribe if you already didn't, I would really appreciate that. As always, the great one, peace, love, and hugs. It's been a pleasure.